How difficult it is nowadays to explain to people they are spirit and not just simple material. That Jesus didn't come as a sacrifice son by his Father, but he did come to teach humanity its real origin and the way to go back to him. The people would believe that the one who says this statement belonged to any of the religions that reign the human thought. It's complicated at this time to evidence an extraterrestrial rebellion which was thrown down onto our planet thousands of years ago. This rebellion is known as Devil or Satan, and that he has a chosen people who dominate everything with their four powers in this world, since the people believe Satan is a demon from which they can protect with prayers and churches. It has become even more difficult to talk about our real origin. To teach that we don't come from the monkey like the perverse theory of evolution points out, but we do come from the stars, and that beings from other sides of the universe have visited us thousands of years ago and even up to date, and leaving the basis for the humanity's spiritual ascending of this planet. People would confuse this one who reveals these issues as an integrant of the New Age movement, or they would label him or her as a crazy human being without taking seriously these arguments. And in spite of having all these elements against me, from now on, I have decided to give the knowledge that comes from the stars, which belongs to all the people who are and were born to understand and comprehend it. And I must do it in this time, because the new child is a promise found in Apocalypse 12 that points to the woman who cried out in pain as she was about to give birth, a male, and that her child will be snatched up to God and to his throne. But the dragon is there, waiting for his son to be born, and this way to devour him, because he knows this birth is his definitive death, since the dragon is nothing more than the darkness in this planet, impersonating themselves in all the powers that reign this world. And I have to do it because I am one that, as many others, have decided to take on this process to be born again, to be born from himself, that man or woman, as any of you all, and as you who is listening to me now, is the one who is about to be born, and he or she will do it at the moment that his or her heart recognizes this knowledge and makes it alive every day. And before starting to give you this information, I must do the following clarifications. The first one is that this knowledge has no belonging to any of the philosophies or religion of this planet. All of them, without exception, are cut from the same cloth. They were invented by the same ones who wish to dominate the world, and they do it by means of beliefs, generating fear of God, dreads, fanaticisms, and a pile of precepts that have absolutely no value before the eternal laws. The second clarification is that this knowledge belongs to all humankind. There is no man who can claim ownership, given that it was not written up or it came to mind of any earthman. It was brought to the planet, and that is something completely different. The third one is that this knowledge from the stars is completely clean of any stain of the four powers that govern this world. Neither the economy, nor religion, nor politics, nor militarism, nor the media that disseminate and support this entire lie have to do with it. On the contrary, it was sent to the planet so that man can break with that lie that turned into exists as a false image in the minds of each of the inhabitants of this planet, and therefore they cannot recognize themselves or find their own inner self. And this knowledge of which I talk is the logic of logic. There will be no words that hurt or break, because they will sit around to hear the creative word, and the logic of logic will resonate in all the ears of men. All hearts will open, and everyone will be able to receive my words. There will be no heart that doesn't cry, and there will be no heart that doesn't feel the power of my words. And there will not be a single man who doesn't get impregnated and filled with them. And the relevance of this information is precisely in that, counting on all the knowledge that has reached the planet Earth, brought by the same Jesus or Ancient of Days, counting on all the prophecies and ancestral knowledge that different communities, like the Mayans, the Hopi, have left as a spiritual legacy to humanity, above all of this generation that is in the time of the end. Counting on all that wealth of knowledge, logic of logic stands out among all the information as one of the most perfect knowledge that comes from the stars. Because the logic of logic is a dialogue that contains for man the voice of the Eternal Father, the voice of the Ancient of Days, and the voice of John Elijah, because they are the three who make up all the content of logic as a direct message for terrestrial man. Its origin stays in the eternal powers that I will explain in each of the following videos that correspond to this document that from today I start to deliver. And for that reason it was necessary that I made all the previous clarifications, because in what I'm going to explain to you, I need to bring up the different prophets who have been nothing but spirits who do not belong to this world and who have reincarnated in different times, bringing the knowledge of the stars to instruct man in what he needs for his own inner development, for the personal elevation of the spirit, and overall, so that you can get out of the deception of the darkness that is here. And when I say darkness, I refer to the extraterrestrial invasion that is on this planet for thousands of years and that has implanted an empire that can easily be noticed outside through its four powers. But that empire is also in the mind, directing the thought of each man. And as the thought is centered in that false image, this has made difficult for man to think beyond those limits that he has been imposed. And when he tries to search for God, he does it according to the paradigm of the image that he has in his mind and that was strategically implanted there as a religion, but he doesn't search for him within himself where he really is. Therefore, and from this hour, I deliver the logic of logic as the sound of final trumpet, because it was announced that the trumpets would arrive for the time of the end to wake up with the eternal truth the men who belong to her. Come with me on this path of logic until the end, because at the end of the path is the Word, the power contained within each one of us as God and eternity.